This episode of the Capital G Show has been brought to you by the world-renowned, extremely popular, and from what I've heard, extremely fun MOBA that is League of Legends. It's absolutely free to play, and I'll be trying it out myself. The link is in the description. What's up, YouTube? Capital G here. So guys, in celebration of Dark Strike Fighter and then Konami's decision to ultimately unban the card, it kind of got me thinking as I looked over our current ban list, like, what other cards on the ban list could they potentially errata and bring back? You know, cards that maybe they would just have to tweak the effect just a little bit like they did with DSF, and then these cards could probably be returned with either no or minimal damage. So this is the top 5 ban cards that need to be errata'd so that they can be unbanned. Number 5, Butterfly Dagger Elma. Okay, so Butterfly Dagger was one of the first cards that jumped off the page to me, and that's because outside of its interaction with one completely random monster and a really bad, unplayable fucking monster at that, you know, this would be a perfectly balanced and healthy card in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! You know, you can't return it if the monster dies from battle. It misses timing like all the fucking time, and it won't trigger if it's destroyed in the damage step. So I'm looking at you, Photon Trident. You know, I mean, if this card was once per turn, there'd be no more gear free bullshit, and pretty much the best combos that would work with this card would be things like Scrap Dragon, Storm. I'm not talking about Heavy Storm, I'm talking about the card Storm, and things like Double Cyclone, things that destroy the card so that you can destroy cards on your opponent's side of the field as well. Number 4, Brionac, Dragon of the Ice Barrier. So I was debating between this and a once per turn card of safe return, but then I thought about Dragon Ruler base decks, and I was like, fuck that. I'll just go ahead and settle on Brio. So contrary to popular belief, I don't think that Mermails got Brio banned at all. I think that it had more to do with the ridiculous loops that the card could do with Infernities, especially the Trishula Levier one, if you've ever seen that. I've actually seen somebody lose 4 cards out of their hand because Trish just kept hitting the field, and I mean, he was just doing the damn thing. Brio is one of those cards that just needed to be once per turn so badly. It is ridiculous. I mean, think all the way back to the Rescue Cat Premature Burial OTKs in Japan. Yeah, that shit actually happened. Now, don't get me wrong, Brio would still be an incredibly powerful card with once per turn effect, considering it removes, you know, just about any monster on board that you can think of so that you can get at your opponent's life points a lot easier, and you can also use, you know, just bouncing effect to get things like Phoenix Chain and Tenki back to your hand so that you could reuse those effects. But with it being once per turn, I don't think that there could be any broken loops. You know, even if you look at Mermails being a thing, I think that outside of Diva, I mean, it's pretty difficult to summon, you know, level 6 synchros in the deck, isn't it? I mean, I'd much rather use my Genix controller for something like summoning, you know, Leo or something like that. Number 3, Magical Scientist. Dislike button, go, go, go! Alright, so let me explain. Magical Scientist is one of those cards that was going to get banned one way or another. If it wasn't the Catapult Turtle FTKs, then just bringing out 3 Dark Flare Knights way back in the day and running into your opponent's Spirit Reaper, I mean, it did a ton of damage, and that shit was just... it was so funny. But with the addition of Xyz into the game, this card obviously would have gotten a lot more retarded because he would have became essentially a 1-card rank Xyz, and I'm talking like rank 1 through 6 by himself dolo. Imagine summoning a Magical Scientist, paying 2,000 life points, and then, you know, you get a M7 on board for free. That just would have been a little bit OP. Actually, that would have just been a lot OP. However, if Scientist did come back and its effect was once per turn, I wonder if this card would be as powerful as most people think it would be. I mean, basically, it would become a monster version of the card Instant Fusion, especially considering you basically need another monster on board to make the most out of this card. You know, if you just had Scientist by himself, I mean, yeah, sure, you could go into things like, you know, Ghost Trick, Delaham, and Slacker Magician, neither of which are really that powerful. I mean, at least I wouldn't say that either one of these plays would be broken. I think Scientist would become more of a tech card. I mean, you do have to use your normal summon, and unless you have another monster on board, you're not going to be making any big Xyz, you know. Also, it's going to take a ton of room in the extra deck to incorporate Scientist into a deck, so with the card at once per turn, I do think we could have 1 Magical Scientist in the game not totally explode. Number 2, Fishborg Blaster. Alright, so I used to think that Fishborg Blaster got banned because having someone summon Formula Synchron on you for 3 short turns is, well, how should I say, annoying as fuck, until I started watching people make Quasar with it and Cloudians of all things, and I thought, wow, if you can make Cloudians good, you must be ban worthy. And I realized that, wow, I mean, this actually makes that formula shit look pretty tame. I mean, Fishborg Blaster is one of those cards that it could be really useful in today's game, especially for a bunch of different decks. I mean, mainly Mermail, if only the card was balanced. I mean, they tried to make it balanced. I'll give them points for effort. You know, they attached the cost of one card each time you activate its effect, but that shit pretty much went out the window the second that Hyper Librarian came out, and it was pretty much a wrap. So rather than making Fishborg Blaster once per turn and it still being, well, somewhat annoying, I think that Konami should just play serious errata on it, and they should basically make it so that the card is banished when it leaves the field after it's been summoned by its effect. I mean, isn't this the whole reason, essentially, why Birdman hasn't been banned yet? I mean, can we all agree on that? This gives you a one shot at a very good synchro and nothing else. I think that the card could be, it could be tolerable if it banished itself after it left the field. And number 1, Substitoad. Never before has one little frog caused so much trouble in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! If you've never seen Frog FTK in motion, I mean, you don't know what you're missing. It is degenerative as fuck, don't get me wrong, but it's also hilarious. Unless it's happening to you, then it's lame as shit, and everybody who's watching should feel bad and give you $1. Look, Substitoad, not only should it have been once per turn, I mean, not making it so was incredibly short-sighted of Konami, but I'm guessing that they never thought that people would just get another monster on board and start dumping their entire decks into the graveyard. So even without Mass Driver or Cannon Soldier or whatever the fuck you want to use to tribute those monsters with when you summon Rodent Toad in a bunch of different times, wouldn't that still be unhealthy for the game? If you just summon Substitoad and summon another monster and dump like 20 monsters into the graveyard turn 1. So if Substitoad was once per turn, I mean, all of those FTKs and OTKs would instantly be killed. And the card would probably just be used as intended. I mean, it'd be a quick way to get the other frogs, i.e. if you were playing something like Frog Monarchs to where you opened with a hand and you didn't have Treeborn or Swap Frog, I mean, this would be an ideal card for that situation because you go Substitoad, Tribute, get Swap Frog, don't Treeborn, and all it would do was essentially, thin your deck by one card. I mean, I actually find it kind of odd that Lonefire Blossom came out one set before Substitoad, and they made that once per turn, but didn't make Substitoad once per turn. So, let me know what you guys think. If there were any cards on here that I missed, let me know about that. Or if you think that these cards should have different erratas, you can post that in the comment sections as well. Thank you for watching, as always. Subscribing makes life happy.